Well, our Environmental Advisory Committee's been together for about 5 or 6 years. Was created in 2006, and it was really based on a group that the City of Edmonton had. Although the path that we've ended up taking with our group has, it's been its own unique path. So the committee consists of 5 members of the public, 1 councillor from our existing council, members from Alberta Environment, Capital Health, and a member from a post-secondary institution focusing on environment of some kind. Fairly lenient in terms of anybody can join. You have to be a resident of St. Albert, and the terms are 3 years. And so the committee, its real purpose is to provide advice to council on environmental issues. It also, one of its roles is to provide advice to administration on how to work with the public consultation. It's always a challenge, I think, in every community to get the message or get information from the public. Every community is different. People are busy. How do you get them to come in and provide, useful, verifiable advice? So the committee was together for, like I said, 5 years. We've had a lot of issues that they've dealt with. Their main initiative that they've worked on has been the development of our environmental strategic plan, or our master plan. And that took us about 3 years to put together, and they were instrumental in that. Had a huge amount of input into it, and participated in the public open houses, and then when we finished it all up, again provided advice to council saying, this is the document we've come up with, this is the direction we think we need to go, and we had that advocate right there.
Right.
So one of the goals that is in with our master plan is reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Reduction of greenhouse gases is a complex topic. So one of the things they wanted to do was to give it a title that would be more easily understandable to the public. So it was to reduce our dependence on non-renewable energy sources. So, that in itself tells you, the beneficial input we had from the group. So the group, obviously, by approving the master plan and being a participant in it, was behind our goal for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. The advisory committee was initiated. The Office of Environment at the City of St. Albert was me, one person. And I know a lot of municipalities are in the same boat. There's one person. One of the things they wanted me to do was a master plan. And so when I completed the master plan and we came up with all of the goals and targets and things that we needed to achieve, the next thing is, who's going to do it and where are the resources going to come from? And it became very apparent right off the bat that if it was just going to be me, it was going to be a very slow process. And I guess that's maybe one benefit of having a council that only has 3 years. They wanted to see things happening. And so I had to propose that I needed additional help. So I needed an additional position, needed a person to help do that, particularly with dealing with the public. You can often, I can do things internally and work on that, but if we want to get the public involved, and they did, council wanted to get the community involved, then I needed an additional position. And for a city the size of ours, to get a new position is a big deal. Going from 1 to 2, I basically doubled my size. And so when I went forward during the budget process and said, for us to attain these goals, including greenhouse gas emissions, I needed an additional person to help me with that, because it was going to be a long-term goal. And the advisory committee, again, having been the champion of that program, came with me and provided that support. It's as simple as they just came to the gallery, and when it was time for public input, they stood up and said, Mayor and Council, you've asked us for advice, we've given you our advice, and for us to move forward on this, there's going to be resources needed. So again, nothing that's rocket science, nothing that's, but to have the voice of support from somewhere outside and from a council committee that they've put together is invaluable. It would be intuitive that you want to kind of get your own house in order before you go out to the community and lead by example. But our experience is, and not only in greenhouse gas emissions, but in other environmental programs, is the community is often readier than you think. And when you suggest something, they often run with it and create that momentum to make the program move forward. With greenhouse gas emissions, when we did our public consultation, people were keen. They were keen to do a few things. I mean, nobody wants to make a massive change overnight, but there was a few low-hanging fruit that they really wanted to pursue. There's some things that they really wanted. And in the city of St. Albert, one of the things was they wanted a anti-idling bylaw. And again, I mean, not something that I would have guessed that the community was a big advocate for, but they wanted that. And so we said, okay, if this is something that you think is important, it works with our greenhouse gas emissions goals. We didn't even have an inventory by that point. But when we put that forward, it was one of the things we said is the benefit would be for greenhouse gas reductions and air quality, and plus all the other things. And getting that bylaw to go through was community initiative. Did we have an anti-idling policy at the city? No, but we put one in fairly quickly because if our community was going to, take the lead, and it was one small initiative, but it builds the momentum and helps the program move forward. And it's not just greenhouse gases that we've done that with. Our communities, when they're keen on something, when your community is keen on something, take advantage of it. Use that momentum, use that interest, and if you wait for things to plant, that interest might be gone by the time you get back. So, take it. If your community is interested in doing, reducing solid waste or recycling or putting an anti-idling bylaw in, follow that lead. Take it, build on it. It won't be perfect. It'll never be perfect, but it'll help you get one step closer.